Welcome to Ask Siasa with me, Tamara Pish, right here on Kenya's Alliance TV. And I'm joined by Emmanuel Bosire. Now, remember, Ask Siasa is all about your opinion on matters happening in our country, in the nation, of course, and also overseas. It's all about your opinion, so feel free to give us your opinions on the comment section below. And most definitely, we're looking forward to that. Now, a lot has been happening over the weekend. It has been a blame game session. And over the weekend, we saw the former president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, responding to some remarks that have been made, of course, by the current government, by some members of the current government, as well as by some individuals relating the bad economic state of Kenya to the previous regime, that is his regime. And we've had the likes of, seen Nelson Koech stating that the country is actually ailing because of Uhuru Kenyatta, as well as Kimani Ichung'wah, all of them, among other members, stating that Uhuru is actually to blame for the previous, for the current government, the current economic state of Kenya, sorry. So, Emmanuel, to you, I'm asking you the question. As per what you know, as per your opinion, is Uhuru to blame for, or is Uhuru's government to blame for the current economic state of Kenya? And is Ruto in the right place or in the right space to actually blame the previous regime as he was part of the previous regime?
You know, what we can say here is that the government uh, did not put up a system that will not own blame games. Just like we've been saying here, that the government is the government. It's only the heads of governments who differ. So you find out when we look at the history, we thank the Lord that we have only four past presidents. The first president of the republic, there are things that he had done that either are affecting us up to today. Coming into the second president, Daniel Moi, there are things that in his administration he had given priority. Some maybe helped us as a country to move forward, and some has put us into a mess. And these I mean by decisional makings about the GDP of our country, about the priorities of our education system, about the culture, about the unity of the Kenyan people, and even how to raise money and to be independent as a country. And moving into the government of President Mwai Kibaki, the third president, he did his part in ensuring that the government is having continuity in development. So his priorities, we will not compare them to the priorities of Daniel Moi. And now to President Uhuru Kenyatta, his system of administration was different. The kind of challenges that he met while in office are not the same challenges that the former president met or the current president William Ruto is facing. And now to really say that President Uhuru Kenyatta is the one to blame, that could be a very wrong perspective, because he himself is not maybe the first president. He also inherited some mistakes from Kibaki's government, but he never came out to say that, I inherited this. But in most cases, the transition from Mwai Kibaki to Uhuru Kenyatta was not the same transition from Uhuru Kenyatta to William Ruto. So the only thing that we blame Uhuru Kenyatta is that for transition. Because if for sure he had good intentions for our country, he would not leave our accounts empty. So they made sure that after losing the elections, and he knew that William Ruto has been elected the president, that same week, how much amount was directed into projects? Pesa ngapi?
I am not sure of the figures, so I cannot say the
So
figures.
a lot of money, just immediately. He was expecting that maybe Raila Odinga was to win in a transition to it. But when things turned out as expected, so that same week when William Ruto was happy that he has won the elections, he was all over happy and did not want to know what Uhuru Kenyatta were doing with the accountants. They were moving money from their treasury, and it's in records. There's a time we had to analyze this. that money was taken out of Kenya's treasury, that orders from above, billions were being taken, and where they went. So that's the only problem. And by what President William Ruto now is facing, he himself will come to an end. His 10 years term will come. His 5 years will come. And if he's re-elected, maybe he will have to transit that seat one day. And he might be blamed. Maybe if he did not do the same that he's expecting. But what Uhuru Kenyatta found from Mwai Kibaki is Kibaki set up his office, left accounts in the office, told him this is the amount I have as at the moment, this is where you're going to start from as the next president. Mine have done, I'm now exiting the state house, come. And he met, things were ordered, teachers were employed, the civil servants were satisfied, the clergy had no problems. So when Uhuru Kenyatta came in, he found easy administration. He did not start from scratch. Just like William Ruto is finding it difficult, he's starting from scratch. He found Akupata person their loans. He has struggled looking for loans, grants, well wishers to support his administration. Up to now, things have started to show that they are now moving as a country. The price of unga, Kenyans have been saying, it's now relevantly affordable. It's only price of fuel that's somehow challenging. But he has said he's working as an administration of Kenya Kwanza to make sure that things are going to be in order, just as they gave during the campaign in their manifestos.
And before we continue with this conversation, I'd like us to listen to Kimani Ichung'wah's response to Uhuru Kenyatta, disassociating himself from the current economic state of Kenya as well as from the blame game that is currently happening, blaming him for the downfall of Kenya's economy as well as for the bad state that the country is in right now.
One, it is a fact our economy is not doing well. It is also a fact that our economy did not stop doing well in the last 1 year. Our problems with our economic problems go back years during his regime. That is a fact of life that Uhuru Kenyatta will never run away from. It is a fact of life that state capture, corruption, and massive looting of our economy destroyed this economy. I've heard my former president saying that there are people who are selling fear to him. Let me tell him, the last person or people to sell fear, their term in office ended last year in August. This administration has no business selling fear to anybody. By saying what is true, the truth, speaking truth to those who think nobody should ever speak truth to them. I spoke truth to Uhuru Kenyatta when I served as his chairman budget and appropriations. And I told him what he was doing for the economy wasn't good. He ended up threatening me and chasing me away. I will speak truth to Uhuru Kenyatta even today. I will tell him, Mr. President, Mr. Former President, please have no fear. Nobody is interested with you. But we're only interested in Kenyans knowing the truth. And my position on having a state capture commission on the state of our economy is a position I have taken based on information and knowledge of what has destroyed our economy. Because this economy has principally been destroyed by state capture. I would want Uhuru Kenyatta today to look Kenyans in the eye. Tell Kenyans that he did not deplete our foreign exchange reserves. I would want Uhuru Kenyatta to look Kenyans in the eye. Tell Kenyans whether he settled the over 60 billion shillings in fuel subsidies that he left in our debt books. Let Uhuru Kenyatta look Kenyans today in the eye and tell them the maize subsidy, money owed to millers, almost 4 to 8 billion shillings, he left in our debt books, is propaganda or is a lie. Because figures speak, numbers talk, and Uhuru Kenyatta cannot run away from his failures. I have stated it before, Uhuru Kenyatta was a tragedy to our country as a president and as a leader of this country. He destroyed the economy. Therefore, let him not tell us that we should not tell him or point out where the problem is. We are cleaning up your mess, Mr. Kenyatta. As we clean up your mess, please give us peace to clean up your mess. We are not interested in what you did. What we are focusing on and what we have been focusing on is forging ahead and getting sustainable solutions. That is why we are not interested in the short-term, knee-jerk, populist position that our friends in Azimio have taken. Because they know they didn't work under Kenyatta's regime. In fact, those populist things were being done to hoodwink Kenyans to vote for them. Kenyans did not buy it. It will not work now after the election. We want sound macroeconomic policies that will transform our economy and make our economy strong.
Yes, now that was Kimani Ichung'wah. So, Emmanuel, we've seen Uhuru Kenyatta be silent for the better part of the 1 year the Kenya Kwanza government has actually been in administration. And Kimani Ichung'wah coming out to state that Uhuru should actually be quiet as they try and clean up the mess that he has made or he made during his term. And Uhuru has been silent throughout. Is his silence, or how does he pose a threat to the Kenya Kwanza government's operations?
Let me laugh. You know, in politics, silences are true. And it does not mean that when a politician is silent, does not know what he's doing. And in most cases, when a politician is silent, you don't know the next move that is going to make.
Yeah.
So we cannot take the silence of Uhuru Kenyatta and say that maybe he left politics, that he is not interested in what is happening in the country. That would be a fallacy. But what we know from our political angle is that when a key politician is silent, he's not silent. He's doing something underground. And when he comes stronger. And that's why you saw the former president saying that he has been seeing threats from the current president. And him being told by Kimani Ichung'wah to be silent, he has brought tension. You know, he has brought tension. They don't know what is the next step. And you know, the Mount Kenya region, they're saying that he's going to tell them who the kingpin is.
Yeah.
Now, as politics is concerned, and as so long as I'm concerned about Mount Kenya region, former President Uhuru Kenyatta is very instrumental. He's very key in determining what will happen next. Now, the majority of Kenya Kwanza who side by President could not find it easy with former President Uhuru Kenyatta. But that aside, now in economy, the truth must be told that when you inherit a mess, you find it difficult to continue with the administration because you inherit a mess of economy, and what's tested in any government is the economy. How are you transforming people? Are people getting their salaries on time? Are recurring expenditure being allocated on time? Is the country able to feed its own people in government offices? So there are many things as a government that you need to run. Now, and when you find out that, like, instance, one of the key challenges that Ruto faced is about the price of food. This could have been easy if he found out something in the account. But when he found out that there's nothing, zero balance actually, so it became very difficult for him to handle. But thank God he has now known and identified other means to sort out this mess. So Kimani Ichung'wah is telling him, we know what your mess is. You placed us into this mess as a country. Now keep quiet. We are rectifying your mess. You don't need to come out and defend yourself. You know what he's trying to tell him is only telling him continue being silent, because the moment he comes and the president decides again to act, you see as the country will be in a continued mess.
Yeah.
You know, if you see somebody else placed into a mess and he's coming out saying he's not the one, you know, you'll even feel bitter, but you don't want to say that they are professionals and they are able to run a country well. Yeah.
And of course, we also saw a slight response from the president stating that he's actually going to do his level best to save Kenya, because his mandate since they came in power, or since he came into power, is to restore the economic state of Kenya. So far, if we look back at the Kenya Kwanza manifesto as well as Ruto's work, are we seeing progress in your opinion? Is there progress? Are we on the right path as Kenya?
Yeah, we could be in the right track, but remember, economic problems cannot be internal problems alone. So you can have domestic problems, just like we've identified. They've said that maybe the former administration left a bad economy. That's domestic. And looking about external, the influence of other countries and how willing are they to support our country, how the investment platform and status of our country is moving on. So they also will determine how President William Ruto will find it easy to administer to our country. Now, like he found fertilizer and subsidies from Russia, and then something that helped him to reduce the price for fertilizer, something people have given him as an achievement. And if we find other governments of administrations like the Saudi and Kenya discussions on the price of fuel, and if they find government to government deal so that the prices of fuel is not going to be going up, and then is going to be stable, and then Kenyans are able to buy them. So it will make it easy for our country's economy to be stable for a moment. And looking about the political stability of our country. So if we have all Kenyans accepting that at the moment President William Ruto is the president, so without minding who was the former president and what kind of threats he's facing, and without minding who want to inherit the presidency seat after William maybe come 2027, and how the opposition is playing its opposition role. So these are many other things that will determine. But looking it basically, it's saying that I am only one, it might not really work, because there are also unforeseen challenges that we might face as a country or as a world in the next 2 or 3 times. But selling hope is one of the things that we all believe in. We always believe that there's a better tomorrow. So if we go by that President William Ruto is saying that he's the best person that is able to transform this country at difficult moments as we are in the moment, and then we'll go by that. And then talking about the government actually is not supposed to do business. So you find out that when you find the government and key politicians participating in business, you find out that the business economy in structure is not going to work out at its best. But if the government decides remove itself from doing business and leave it now for business people and for professionals to participate in business, and then our country will move on. I was happy to see the report from the control of budget, naming Kisii County as one of the leading counties that took part in revenue allocation. So this is a county that we've seen in the last few days, there's political tension there. So between the governor and the chief. But in as much as that tension, they've been able to lead in revenue allocation, especially the Darajambiri market. So you find out even the local county devolution governments can play a better role in developing our country, not leaving it for the national government. So if you find out the county of Meru, just as we've seen in the past 1 month, you find it very difficult. There's political tension between the governor and the other key politicians from that region. So by going by that way, you find out the economy for Meru could have gone down,
No.
while you find out the economy for Kisii maybe is going up. So looking at the economy of counties also will give us the general picture of a country's moving forward as a country. So that's why the president is now supposed to use the presidency to unite all parts of our country. And it could be that's one of the reasons that they are working hard day and night to see a united Kenya. So if we be united as a country, we don't have political divisions, we don't have political affiliations, which are they will always be there, but they should be having a purpose of unity. So these ones will move and transform our country. Imagine a country like Kisi collecting 13 billion in only less than 3 months. Now, what could be in Ashinda, the capital city? So don't you see that there's a problem in the capital city? Don't you see that there's a problem in other counties? So if they all they fix the corruption mess, this economy that President William Ruto is crying about inheriting, it could be something of the past. You could even sit down and say, okay, you took the mess, but unajua hakunyang'anya mbinu za to collect, because it's collection of revenue, it's taxes, which is the minimum. So if you put a very good structure of raising money as a country, even in 3 months, President Ruto could not even be blaming Uhuru Kenyatta. Because if you blame him, he will not be a president again. He will not become and take that seat. So you just leave him alone and say, this is the mess you did. And now take your time. Make sure that you don't leave that legacy again. So that the next president who's coming will also blame you. Yeah.
And those are Emmanuel Bosiria's sentiments on, of course, the current economic state of Kenya and who is to blame. And according to him, of course, this is something that is inherited from, we can say, government to government. The only difference is that the president is the one who changes, or the people in leadership are the ones who change. So to you as our viewer, I'm asking you the question, I'm posing the question to you. Who do you think, or do you think Uhuru Kenyatta is actually to blame for the current economic state of Kenya? And looking at the comment section, of course, the question that I also posed earlier, we had someone who's asking, but wasn't Ruto the de facto government of Uhuru as deputy president? And of course, we've seen Emmanuel answer to that as well, to give his opinion on that. Now, remember, Ask Siasa is all about your opinion. And thank you so much for keeping us company and allowing us to keep you company. And we're going to see you in the next Ask Siasa. But for now, remember, it's all about your opinion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.